It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about The Bachelorette, episode 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
And we start off with the date with Charity and Joey. They're having a one-on-one. And they have a cute little date. They do a horse and a carriage.
Yeah. Now, before we get to the date, when all the guys were sitting around before the date, some of them was hoping that they would have their one-on-one. Like Tanner was saying like he haven't had his one-on-one yet, so he felt like he was on the chopping block.
Right.
What was the other white guy name?
Sean.
Sean is, I don't know what's going on with Sean. Sean just feels like he needs his one-on-one as well because this is the episode where whoever is left at the end gets to meet Charity, get to meet their parents.
Yes, hometowns after this episode.
So now it makes sense why everybody feel important, why everybody feel the pressure and everybody feel like it's important, like this is an important date. Aaron B, is it Aaron B or Aaron S?
Aaron B, but he's the only Aaron there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Aaron.
So Aaron, he have this, I call it not protective, but like he feels like Charity belongs to him.
Yeah, I would say protective.
Yeah, but it's not. But she's not in danger. You're not protecting her from anything, buddy. He just feels like, I just feel like week by week, even though she may give you a rose, even though she may give you some respect and things like that, they still feel insecure about their place in her life or in her decision.
Yeah.
So Dalton and Joey was pretty chill. Yeah,
Dalton was on a high. He said he felt really good about the date last week.
And he even said, like, I'm going to use my time. I'm going to take advantage of my time if I get some this week. And Joey really didn't say much, which I was actually surprised that she chose Joey for the one-on-one date with the horse carriage. Because, last time they had a one-on-one interaction was for the world record, Bachelor record of the longest kiss. So it was very interesting, but yeah, she chose him, and now like they in that horse carriage and so forth.
Yeah. So they go to hang out just along the streets. They do tarot card reading, and the tarot card reader says they'll find balance in each other.
Okay.
Then they go to sit down with the poem writer, and the man writes a poem based off of their description for each other and how they feel.
That poem did not rhyme.
Right.
And I feel like he could have wrote that about any couple that sat in front of him.
Yeah.
It wasn't special to me.
Yeah.
Did you find it special?
No, I didn't really find the date to be that interesting.
Wow.
And I didn't find the activities that interesting. I guess, I don't know. It's not my vibe.
Blair, I know you're not saying that with ABC put their unlimited budget on this show to make sure that you like these dates, and you're saying it's not my vibe.
Yeah, these just kind of hanging around the street and just going and popping by.
I mean, it's New Orleans.
It wasn't really.
It's New Orleans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right, then we move on to dinner.
Yeah.
Charity says that she sees a forever future with him.
Charity be lying too. It's so crazy how we haven't called Charity a liar yet, because she be saying the same thing to almost every guy she has a one-on-one with.
But I think, like we saw in some of the previews, she's saying that she's fallen in love with multiple people. So,
well, that's what happens when you date multiple guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop lying.
Joey, he's saying that he has no worries. And she's asking him at the date how he would, or I guess how would it be for her to meet his family. And he's saying, they'll be excited to meet you, but of course they wouldn't want him to get hurt.
That's not what we talk about, Joey.
And then she has to lay it out clearly because he doesn't really get how she's asking the question. And she brings up the fact about interracial, Jesus.
Take your time.
Interracial marriages and relationships. And how that there can be a lot of pressure from families or just looks from people, and that could be really hard, on both of them or individually. And she just kind of wants to know if if he feels comfortable and how he would be with dealing with that. And he's pretty much saying, you don't really know until you get in that position.
What? Basically, Joey, will your white folks like me?
Right. And he says, but of course, I'll be open and willing to learn.
Excuse me.
Open and willing to learn. So, I mean, I guess that's as good an answer he could give.
No, Joey. I felt like you should have given a better answer, buddy.
What should he have said?
He should have just said, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't say, I don't know. Because even if you don't know, I wouldn't have said, I don't know. Like, I would have said, yeah, my parents would love you. My parents not like that. Soon as we off that date, I'm calling my family and be like, hey, man, get yourselves together. Go and make sure y'all like wipe away your tweets or like whatever, because we ain't trying to have no type of like, because I was thinking to myself, like, Charity, I think it was something in the show where she said her ex was white or something across the lines.
Yeah, and they dealt with that, and it was very difficult for them.
Yes. And I actually not hold it against Joey, but it's actually interesting that she had to bring it up. Dude, you kind of get what I'm saying? Like, Joey just thought throughout this whole time, or even Sean, or even Tanner, like, it's going to have to come up, especially when it comes to parents and so forth, and meeting families, and families meeting each other. So even when she said that and he didn't really catch on and read between the lines, even being ignorant to it, you can also like play a part in it by being ignorant to it. Yeah. Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, by not actually understanding the weight of the situation. Yeah. And the reality of the situation. Yeah. And just thinking that everything's fine. And then when it's not, being shocked and, not knowing what to do. So, but that's the risk you take,
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, you don't have to be racist. Like nobody's accusing anybody of being racist. But any lack of acknowledgement
or ignorance
plays a part.
Yeah.
Because as she was saying, like it like eyes will turn from her own community.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Eyes will turn from his community. So just to see, his answer wasn't bad, but I felt like it was more space for him to give a better answer to basically make her feel
more secure
in picking him if she was to pick him.
Yeah. And it would have been nice, but I just don't think he's that in tune. I think he really is.
We're not calling you racist now.
No, but ignorant to the fact of how
love is love.
Of how much of a weight interracial marriages can be on the people in it, your families, all that type of stuff. I think he really is ignorant to the situation, as his answer showed. Like, he really just doesn't know.
Or maybe he haven't dealt with the weight of it. Like it's cool to just date and like a black person, but we're talking about marrying one.
Yeah.
So and then on top of that, this is a black woman that you're bringing home out of nowhere. Off of a game show. Sorry, dating show.
Right.
So it's like, that would be interesting if we get to see that.
Right. Well, apparently his answer was good enough for her.
Of course.
Because she said that he makes her feel seen, and she started crying. Well, I don't know if she started crying, but she gives him the rose.
She is.
She did a lot of crying this episode.
Is Charity starting to get on your nerves yet?
I mean, she's kind of got on my nerves with how she's handled certain
Charity
situations.
Is getting on. I don't know what this episode. Charity was really laying on thick this episode, man. I was like, what is going on with you this episode?
Yeah.
It just felt so, I don't want to say fake.
That's exactly where I was going with it. I'm like, the authenticity.
Over dramatic.
It doesn't feel that authentic. But I've been saying that the whole time, of just being like, when these guys come out and express themselves, and she's like, I appreciate you for sharing that with me.
Yeah, you did.
And it's just like, I feel like there's no even push and pull and getting to know each other, and it just doesn't feel like she's giving
just this episode
at all.
This episode
compared to, of course the guy's got to give more, but I feel like she doesn't give enough of herself.
This episode, I was just very bothered by just her. This episode, like, she was just she was wearing me out, man. Like, with the tears, with the dramatics, with the, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm going to do. It was just like, this ain't heart surgery.
Yeah, who are you really feeling?
Like this is not a, I don't want to say it's not a tough, no, I will say it's not a tough decision. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if it don't work out with whatever decision you make another one. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't get the dramatics of her this episode.
Well, I feel like I understand from what she said further along in the episode. She has a really hard time with not wanting to hurt people's feelings and not wanting to be someone who, you know, hurts someone or breaks someone's heart. I guess being that person and that other person's story of leaving a negative impact or something on the other person. But I mean, I feel like she gotta get over that. I mean, you gotta make some decisions and be sure of yourself and move on. Of course, it can be difficult, but it was very.
Charity, I just met you 5 weeks ago. Trust me, if you hurt my feelings, you're not gonna be the one that's like I always point to. Like, it was this girl that broke my heart. Mm-hmm. We both was on this dating show, and since my heart was broken from that girl, I never dated again. Yeah. No, get over yourself. But I don't blame you, Charity. Only I blame ABC as well. But but continue on.
Okay. So he gets the rose. Mm-hmm. Then they leave in the horse and carriage.
Cinderella.
So we go back to the hotel. Mm-hmm. And the guys are back at the hotel. Mm-hmm. Sean and Tanner are chatting. And we get the news that Sean and Tanner are going to need to meet Charity by the bayou.
Ooh, group date.
Yes. And they, especially Sean is really like torn up about it because he really did not want a group date. Neither did Tanner, but Sean was really torn up. So the guys go out to meet Charity at the bayou, mm-hmm. and they're going on this swamp tour, and they're getting to see all the alligators, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So Charity, when starting the date, she says that she's, you know, really interested in Sean, and she also said she's kind of wanting to see if Tanner is not afraid to open up, because she can tell that he just hasn't been as outspoken in trying to get her to know her. Mm-hmm. And during the date, Sean was very talkative, very engaging. Tanner was kind of playing
he was just trying to fit in. Yeah, he was trying to fit in. He was just trying to pick his spots, I guess.
Yeah, like and I could tell that it was probably really hard and difficult to get in there and make a meaningful conversation. But it seemed like Sean was just talking, running his mouth, just trying to take up as much time and space as he could.
Sean said, I don't care what you said. This is a one-on-one date.
Exactly.
Like, basically.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there watching. I'm like, Tanner needs to step it up. Like,
but I don't blame Tanner all the way, though. I blame mm-hmm. Charity, because if you wanted to get to know Tanner, you shouldn't have wasted that date on Warwick and chose Tanner. Or you, like you get to choose who you want to have one-on-one dates with. Mm-hmm. So you don't get to be like, I don't really get to know you. Well, give me a date.
But who would have known Warwick would have been that bad? Like, that was crazy.
That's true.
That was crazy.
But who would have thought Warwick would have got a one-on-one date too? I didn't know who that was.
And everybody in the room was just like, do we know anything about Warwick?
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, listen, Charity, if you don't know somebody, it's because you haven't given them the opportunity for them to show themselves to you. You know?
But there's also limited time. So.
And guess what? You gave Brayden how many one-on-one dates? Twice, too?
Oh yeah, and
so it's don't and how many cocktail parties you left? You probably could have got to know him if you stayed.
Yeah, I that's another thing I was irritated about, and I can see and understand how she can be overwhelmed.
Yes,
but you are really like doing a disservice to the men who are here really vying for your time. I'm like, take 20 minutes and come back.
That's why I was like, yo, Charity was wearing it on me this episode. I was like, and like, you don't know Tanner. Okay, we'll get to know him.
Yeah.
But continue.
So they go and sit down. They're doing having crawfish, a little crawfish boil.
Are you a fan of crawfish?
I actually am.
I never had it.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely not as much as crabs and crab legs.
Okay.
But I can do a crawfish or two.
Okay. Or two?
20.
Oh,
they're really small. So.
I don't think you come in two, but
yeah. Do you?
I never had it.
Oh, okay. We got to get some.
I'm okay.
Okay. All right. So they're chatting and stuff. Still Sean pretty much taking up most of the conversation. And then she invites them both to dinner. I was kind of hoping at that point that she would invite only one of them to dinner. I didn't expect it to go to dinner with both of them.
Yeah.
But I guess it gave her more time to try to figure out who she wanted.
That's true.
Moving on to dinner.
This was an interesting dinner.
It was really...
Because the format was wild. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt really weird about the dinner. So Charity, Tanner, and Sean go to dinner. They're all sitting down. Charity in the middle. Sean and Tanner to both sides of her at the end of the table. And then she turns to Tanner and says, would you step out for a minute?
Excuse yourself.
So she could have Sean. I was like, wait, I thought this was a group date. I didn't know people. And not only did he like step out the room, he stepped out the building.
Like, do I leave my food
outside
here?
On the street? I'm like, he didn't even get to get a bite of his food or nothing.
Oh, okay. I leave my food here. Okay. True.
Right. So Tanner leaves out the building.
We
see him on the sidewalk drinking his wine.
Just standing.
And then we see Sean and Charity talking some more. Sean says she'll feel the love and support from his family because she asked the same question.
Yeah.
And then we switch it back out. Sean goes out, and then Tanner comes back in. And Tanner kind of has his guard up, and Charity's talking to him and asking him about, his last relationship and trying to dig in a little bit to understand why he's not as outgoing and as expressive and trying to get her. And he says that in his last relationship, when he was 24, he was in that relationship for 3 years. There was a situation where the girl, he was with her, but then she just ghosted him and they weren't together anymore.
I think the story was like she went to Miami and then like she didn't come back or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy like that.
I'm about to say like, whoa. No, she came back. She just didn't let you know, bro.
Right. And I was just like, I wrote down Tanner is not bringing it like at all. So then she calls Sean back in, and she has Sean and Tanner there. She steps out herself to try to collect her thoughts, and she ends up coming back. She picks up the rose and says, I will not be giving this rose out tonight. I'm not ready.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. At that point, you should know both of y'all about to go home. Like, if I was one of the guys, I was like, well, I'm gone. Because I didn't get a rose. Like, this is the first time we've seen this. Not in Bachelor or
well, just us.
Yeah, because we don't know.
We knew here.
But in this series of season 20, this is the first time we've seen this. And I'm like, wow. None of y'all made an impression on the date. But I will say, if I was to play devil's advocate, I don't think she had any intention to give a rose out that night. I don't think so. Sometimes you may not like the answer you got because you ain't asked the good questions. So she ain't asked the good questions. She should want to ask about exes and things of that nature. I don't think it was a good collaborative effort on anybody's part. Yeah. On the guys and on Charity.
Yeah, to reveal connections or a spark or anything like that.
You feel what you feel, and you're not feeling them. So don't make it seem like they didn't do enough to get like the rose. They wasn't gonna get a rose the minute they stepped in. Yeah.
But I was actually once I sat back and saw Sean's reaction, I was like, "Ooh, I'm glad she didn't give the rose."
Cause he got a little prissy attitude.
He got a real little attitude, and he looked angry and all this type of stuff.
Real prissy.
Yeah, and I was just like, actually, make them sweat. See how they handle this, not getting what they want or what they think they deserve, and just see if they can remain cool, which Tanner did.
That's fair.
And Sean about flipped his lid, and I was just like, I'm glad that she can see this. I don't even know if she saw it.
Yeah, I don't think she saw it. Yeah, I think she walked away with the rose.
But she ended up seeing it.
Okay.
But yeah. So moving on, we find out Dotson gets the next one-on-one.
Oh boy!
And he literally just had one last week. So
he's working his way up, ain't he?
So I'm like, wow, like she really must really like him and really must not be into these other guys like that.
Dude, you know what's crazy about Dalton? Or is it Daunton?
Dalton.
I'll let you say the name.
Okay.
He's not like the other guys. Meaning, when they are amongst each other and they talking, he don't say nothing. He's quiet. He's not over there like Aaron talking about Brayden apologize or basically trying to speak up, snitching on each other, talking about some people ain't here for you. And he wasn't snitching and he wasn't getting no dates. He had to really pick his spots. But if you really pay attention from the second episode or even the first episode, I want to say the second episode, he was able to pull her aside. You know, he carried that ID in his pocket all the time. Yeah. And that was the first time that I said, if you go back and watch the other reviews of those episodes, where I said that was the first real interaction that I felt like she had with one of the guys. It was with him. Yeah. That actually felt the most meaningful. That actually had some depth to it. Yeah. Because he's talking about his family. Not like, my family been together for this long, as long as the Hollywood sign. Like, that's just whack. No, like, he actually was talking about something in depth. So I think he intrigues her in the correct way.
Yeah, like every time they meet, he reveals more of himself and his story.
Not in the way of intriguing of, I don't know who this guy is. But just give her a little bit and then just shut it off. Remember, a couple episodes ago, actually I think it was last episode, he got an invite up to her room.
Yeah, he did.
So he's not doing the most as Aaron over here being the knight in shining armor, talk about like, I am the protector and I want to do this, so I'm going to snitch on Brayden and say all these other things. Even when Dalton's getting his one-on-one date, Aaron got an attitude. These guys who've been getting roses, who quote-unquote, even during the ceremony when it's time to hand out roses, whose name get called first, they got an attitude when somebody else has the intention. And now they insecure about their spot and they insecure about their place on Charity's chart. But I digress. Continue.
Yeah. So on the date, like we said, Aaron was really mad. He was real pissy. He wasn't having the one-on-one. Yeah. And Charity and him go to the Crescent City Classic. Yeah. And which was, I thought it was a pretty cute date. They had them in like tutus and like just running and walking and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't have worn a tutu, but I feel you.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had you wear that either. But they had a good time. I guess along the way, like you get beers and waters and you just talk to random people and stuff. So they seem to enjoy their time. They're holding hands. And then we go back to the house. And Joey is talking to Tanner. Tanner's expressing that he didn't think that the date, like he felt that it was weird and felt like Sean was in his head all day. Yeah.
Now, mind you, during this scene, Dalton haven't came back yet.
Yeah, they're still out on their date.
Yeah, so like the guys are talking amongst themselves. Yep.
And Sean is talking to Xavier, and he is really upset about the rose not being handed out. Yeah. And he said it makes him feel like she doesn't feel as strongly for him as he feels for her. Which
yes,
is true.
That's exactly what it means. That's exactly what it means. That's exactly what it means.
It's true. We go back to the date with Charity and Dalton. They finish the run, and then they leave so they can get ready to come back together for dinner. So at dinner, on their date, she wants to know with him how he feels about his family meeting her. And he really didn't answer the question, at least to my liking. He was talking about how he has a fear of failure, and really understanding and appreciating that sometimes a good thing is just a good thing. I was trying to make sense of it and thinking that, maybe because his family is immigrants, that maybe they might be a little bit harsher on her and judgmental in ways.
Maybe.
So maybe he's fearful of if she'll measure up to what their standards are. But that is totally me reading into it and trying to piece together the nothing that he said about it.
Well, put like this.
So I tried to connect it in a way that maybe that was the answer.
Well, if we go by your theory, they will be hard on her. Yeah. And they could be hard on him, too, for either being on this show.
Yeah.
Like because like
that makes the most sense to me from what he said.
His answer didn't make sense, but none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, So and she accepted. Mm-hmm. She didn't say it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, she likes it. Mm-hmm.
Dalton reveals that he is falling in love with her, and she is so happy to hear it. And she says thank you, and she ends up giving him the rose.
Oh, she gave them Sean Rose.
And we go back to the guys.
Yeah.
We have Aaron, Xavier, Tanner, and Sean talking. Mm-hmm. And they find out that there's going to be another group date. Mm-hmm. And Sean said that he's not going to be able to handle it if Dalton comes in with a rose on his chest.
You know that black man coming in with a rose on his chest.
And I don't know why Sean was feeling that way. I mean, he had a one-on-one date.
First of all.
So why would he not?
Well, he didn't have a one-on-one date. He had a group date.
I'm saying Dalton had a one-on-one date. So why would he not get a rose?
First of all, you ain't doing nothing to that tall man. Like, what do you mean you can't handle it? Are you going to do something to him?
Just storm off like he did.
He ain't going to do nothing. But just stand. But just go to the confessional and talk about how much you don't like it.
Yeah.
That's all you going to do.
So Dalton sits down, and Dalton really is a cool guy. He wasn't coming in cheesing,
like bragging or nothing like that.
Bragging,
he went right back in the shadows,
or singing or nothing. He just went to sit down and pretty much just laid it out of what happened. Mm-hmm. And Sean, as he said, he couldn't take it, so he storms out the room, pacing in his bedroom, just saying he don't understand, and this is too much, and he doesn't see why he couldn't get a rose, and he is just hot.
First of all, the fact that you can outbeat Tanner, you are not it, guy. Tanner had, I don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't even remember his occupation. And I'm not going back to ask you what was it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can outbeat, put it like this, if it was a group date and it was him, Tanner, and Dalton on that date, Dalton would have got the rose.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with one-on-one time. It has nothing to do with the group time. She just ain't feeling you, man. She just not. She's not. She's feeling my guy Aaron, even though I don't really like him like that. She's feeling Xavier. She's definitely feeling Joey. She's feeling Dalton. I mean, that's what I figured that she was feeling.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Yeah. So he could not take it.
No.
He had to go talk to her. So he goes, knocks on her door.
Hopefully you dress.
Exactly. Knocks on her door. She allows him to come into the room. They sit on the couch and get to talking.
Yeah.
First, he's asking her like how she feels, that he knows that it was a rough day with her not being able to give out the rose today. And I was just like, this is a whole bunch of BS.
First of all, she's like, it wasn't that rough.
Exactly. I did what I wanted to.
I gave out a rose today. like I don't know what you mean.
And she tells him, I'm still processing and trying to come to a decision. And she just didn't want to hand out a rose if she wasn't sure. He said that he respected it, but he wanted to know how she felt about him. He wanted to have that validation because he wasn't getting it. And Sean tells her that he's in the process of falling in love with her. And
sorry, Dalton already told her that, buddy.
Yeah. And Charity admits that there are connections that are stronger than the one that she has with him in the house. And he explains to her he's pretty much begging for his life.
He's begging for a rose.
Saying he thinks that with a one-on-one, they could get stronger and they could really build their connection. And Charity tells him like it is and says, I can't give you what you want. And she's fearful that she won't get there with him. She's just not feeling you, bro.
And then she started crying.
Yeah, I don't know why she was crying.
That's I was like, you wearing me out.
I think that's that thing of her not wanting to be a bad person or whatever like that. I'm just like, you don't like him. Like, there's so many other guys here that you do like. So, whatever. So then she says, can I walk you out?
Yeah. Whoa.
That's like one of my favorite things that she does. Mm-hmm. Can I walk you out?
He was like, wait. I only came here to let you know I'm processing. I didn't let you know I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
No, you made me cry.
So by the end of the conversation, Sean went home. We didn't get to see him go home in a bus. Nope. We didn't get to see his little outro of how he felt about the process.
I was like, he gone?
We woke up the next day for the next group date, and Sean went home.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the next date, we have Aaron, Xavier, and Tanner. Mm-hmm. And she pulls them for chats at different times. The first chat she has was with Aaron. Aaron expresses that it was a tough week for him.
Aaron just rubs me the wrong way. He just rubs me the wrong way.
Why? Explain. What about him?
He's a loser, and I just can't. I don't know if it's him or they making him act this way. There's no way like he's acting this way. Even when Joey got the first date, he cussing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, are you really that upset? Mm-hmm. Are you really that upset? You're on a game show. Mm-hmm. The same thing that y'all was criticizing Braden for, and all and things of that nature. Now y'all doing the exact same thing. Y'all doing literally the exact same thing when it comes down to it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, Aaron, please, bro. Just save this was a tough week for me. I ain't had no time with you. I never had a one-on-one date with. Just save it, please. Please. Just go in the corner, flip your coin. Please.
And make the most of your time.
That's what I'm saying.
Like with the guys
don't talk about what you didn't have. You got it now.
Right. And capitalize on that time together. But he says that he's still here and he's still in it for her, and she's totally worth it all.
Of course you're still here. I didn't eliminate you. Like okay.
Then she calls Tanner for a talk. Tanner is expressing to her that he really thinks it'll be a good time if she comes to his hometown. It's pretty much all I got from that conversation.
Tanner, you didn't even say I love you, bruh.
Yeah.
You just basically said, please come, please come.
Yeah, come meet my folks.
Yeah. No, Tanner, I'm not feeling you at the moment, buddy.
Next, we have Xavier and Charity. And she felt confident from their one-to-one last week. They really did have a good one-to-one.
It was cool.
And he changed her perspective about her feeling like he was similar to her ex in a way. Didn't know he was going. He probably didn't know he was going up that battle of that hill against it.
That wasn't even his fault.
Yeah.
She should put that on that man.
Mm-hmm. And then he opens up and says that he wants to be honest with her and that he's scared to commit 100% because he's never done it before.
Whoa.
He wants to get married, but he's unsure if he'll be able to fall in love, if she'll be the one for him. He thinks he can get there. If she is the one, he wouldn't want to pass this up. That was a lot, and that should have stayed in your head, I feel like. I don't think that's something you have to share.
And that's what, Sean, you should have just shut up and went to bed that night. And that could have been your opportunity to get Xavier out the house. Like, that could have been your opportunity.
All you had to do is play it cool.
Exactly.
You got yourself worked up and sent out.
Xavier, I was like, hold on, is he dumping her? At one point, like, I was like, what is he doing? Like, I guess it's honesty, but something just left better unsaid. If you're unsure about something, I'd rather you, like, I know, like, you, like, supposed to communicate, but she haven't been transparent with him.
Right.
So why is he just laying it all out on the altar for her, just for her to be the judge of it? Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, and
for him to expect to get a rose after that, like, to me, I'm like, I feel like you're putting yourself in a sticky situation by saying you've never committed to a relationship in your life,
and you're a grown man,
and you're supposed to be getting on your knee after the next few weeks to propose to her.
Yeah,
and
they already let you know that Xavier, you ain't gonna win, buddy.
Right. So that just like really threw me for a loop. I was totally shocked and awed by that. So that was a terrible decision. You could have took time to think for yourself, figure out why you don't like to commit, and then come when you were together.
Just lie. Win the game.
So, we go. So Aaron gets the first rose. She gives the rose to Aaron.
Mm-hmm. This is the elimination thing, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then Charity says that she's torn between Tanner and Xavier, and she needs to take more time.
Okay.
I think the only reason she was torn is because you said that commitment piece. She probably would have went with you immediately if you wouldn't have said that. Mm-hmm. But okay, honesty, whatever. So Charity, she takes her time. She comes and talks to Tanner, and she
in his room.
Yeah, in his room. She comes to his room, and she says to him that it's not fair to his family for him to propose when they really haven't had much time together. She said they're going to come and ask questions of, why are we a thing? How does this work? And neither of them are really going to be able to answer because they really don't have a connection and don't know each other.
He is literally in the same position as all the other guys. What do you mean?
Exactly. How he make it this far?
The same way as Xavier made it this far. The same way Aaron made it this far. The same way his daughter made it this far. What do you? She tried to put it on him like, you know what? It's not really fair to you. Mm-hmm. And he's like just listening.
Right.
Like, what are we gonna tell your family? You tell them that y'all both signed up for it to get this show, and we trying to see if we can fall in love and be together. The same thing as you go say with Aaron family, Joey family. This was funny.
And she also gets very tearful. It was like hard for her to get the words out to say it. It was
baloney.
And I was just like, but you're saying you don't have a connection with this guy, but you're this emotional over letting somebody go that you don't have a connection with. So that's when I was just like, okay, like either she really doesn't want to be the bad guy, or she's really just
it's just fake, man.
Yeah,
it's just fake.
Or she's really just like playing it up. I was just like,
I'm tired of you.
It's weird to me. So she asked him if she can walk him out.
What?
And I was like, aren't we in his room?
He ain't pack a bag. He ain't do nothing.
No, and I was thinking she'd walk him to the door. She walked him out of the hotel. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Go home.
Then she sits Xavier down and she tells him that he's getting the rose and she's looking forward to meeting his family.
Yep.
So that was the episode. Charity, I'm supporting you in this journey, and
Charity, I'm not supporting you one bit.
And what you're doing, but some of these moments, like, and I've never seen The Bachelor, Bachelorette before, so I don't know if it's always been like this, but it's just not giving. Like please be vulnerable, or at least show a little something to these people's families when you go to their house or something. Like let these people get to know you.
We're near the end of this show.
Yeah, it is what it is by this point.
And you're asking for stuff you're not gonna get.
And it's already been recorded.
Charity, I'm not on your side, right? I'm a fan of you because we stick together. But everything else, I don't like this show. You really wore me thin this episode. I was tired watching you cry, and I was trying to. It felt like you was trying to get me to feel what you was feeling, but I don't believe what you was feeling. So it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. And then they put the dramatic music in the background, and I'm just like, we know Tanner's not getting a rose. It's like you're making suspense for when we didn't even know he was like part of the last 6 or last 5 or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Mm. But thank God this is coming to a close.
Oh goodness. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, thank God this is coming to a close. Please leave your comments. Like, comment, subscribe to the show. Anything else, Blair?
No, that's all. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.